Hi guys, I'm back. Yes, finally back on video again after about a year's break since I started my YouTube channel. But I just wanted to keep this going, hopefully a lot more regularly with just little itty bits of um, things that are kind of going around my mind and I want to share with you. So, today I wanted to speak to you guys about this concept of waiting until or waiting for the right time to do something. Um, it just got sparked off for me last week when I stumbled across this book that I read a few years ago. Really, really great book, which I'll talk about in a moment. But what it reminded me of is this idea that we can't have X until we begin or until we have something or do something or make something. You fill in the blanks there. So we can't have that until we have something else or we do something else. So, for example, I'll start working on my intimate relationships once I've found the perfect job, have my own home, understand relationships better, or I'll start working on my health once I've found the right gym or the right teacher, or start, or I don't know, something really random like that, or I'll work on myself once I have more time in my schedule. But it got me thinking about why do we wait? I feel like waiting until implies that the thing that we want to focus on or work on or have is some kind of onerous task. But this often sad reality is that this so-called task is usually something that is incredibly important to us and something we'd value really highly in our lives. And we tend to put these things to one side, often not realizing that, a week passes without it having had our focus, our love, our attention. And then this turns into months, and months turn into years, and you get my point. Um, and so imagine all that time passing, and then realizing that this thing that you truly desired, you truly valued, has completely passed your attention. And then you're left with that huge feeling of regret, and you start to ask the dreaded questions of like, what the do I do now, or where on earth do I begin, or worse still, is it too late? And sometimes the things that we most treasure and would so greatly cherish in our lives don't really need to take our lives over in order for us to be able to attain them. I think that's where I've tripped myself up in the past, thinking, God, for me to be a great pianist or a great dancer or a great girlfriend or whatever it is, I need to spend hours upon hours of pure disciplined time and focus and attention on it, which isn't always true. And sometimes we have to think about whose kind of bar are we measuring ourselves against as well. And of course, time, attention, focus, discipline, all of those things help. Um, but what if these bits of focus happened in short and frequent bursts? So instead of saying I'm going to spend an hour at the piano learning this piece that I love, what if I was to say I'm going to practice the first four bars 5 times today, or I'll do 5 sun salutations or push ups at some point during the day, or even ensure that I connect deeply with 3 people in my life today, or speak to 3 guys at my local coffee shop. Imagine what it would feel like to give yourself these really small but what are in actual fact really huge wins. It's a big gift to give to yourself, and it doesn't. And the thing that you're doing, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be flawless. In fact, it's actually great if it's imperfect or it's flawed because it gives you something to just dig into that much deeper and unpack and learn a bit more about and get that much better at. As my very good friend Amber always says, done is better than perfect. And I think that so applies here. Um, and so, in that moment where we've done the 5 push ups or we've practiced those 4 bars 5 times in the day, we've just taken massive action. And in that moment, we've made that so talked about 3 millimeter shift from where we were to where we are to where we want to be. Um, and so, yeah, imagine, if you will, you choose to believe that with your every concentrated effort and short burst of focus, time chose to expand with your personal expansion. So it's not like you're kind of using up time that you don't have if you choose to believe this. And then before you know it, you're a few weeks in and you're halfway through learning that piece and it's sounding great, or you've gone from 5 really breathless sun salutations or push ups to 10 really strong and full ones. Or you've hit it off with one of those cute guys you've spoken to at the coffee shop and you're going on your 5th date. You know, I don't have time and I'll wait until can be some of the most dangerous words we say to ourselves. So my question to you guys today is, what could you choose to begin focusing some of your attention on, even if it was just for, 5 reps or 5 bars or 5 conversations on a regular basis? In this time, what could you attain? What could you achieve massive results with? What can you derive pleasure and satisfaction and fulfillment from? And there's the reason why I'm so passionate about the concept of short and concentrated bursts of attention, focus, and practice is that book that I came across again last week was it's a book by Daniel Coyle called The Talent Code. It's one of my favourite books, and I highly recommend it if you want to kind of understand the concept of genius. And what he goes on to explain in that book, he goes on a worldwide exploration just to prove that genius isn't something that you're born with, but it's created. And he explains how it's achieved through 3 things, and that's deep practice, ignition, and master coaching. But prior to that, he dives into the human brain just to explain how it works. And in a super small nutshell, it's this. It's that in our brains, we have neurons across which electrical signals are fired. And these neurons are insulated by this amazing stuff called myelin. And so every time you practice something, a signal is fired across that particular neural fiber, and myelin is formed. So you can see where I'm going through with this, right? It's the more times the same electrical signal is fired, the more myelin is formed, which means the neural fiber itself becomes more and more insulated, and each time the signal is fired faster and stronger, there's less likely for that electrical signal to leak out. So a perfect example is, like one of these cables. The thicker the plastic insulation around the wire itself, the better quality of wire, and more importantly, the better quality of the signal that's fired across it. So the thicker the myelin gets, the better and more accurate we become. It's like really, really amazing stuff. And so the deeper our practice, the deeper our focus, the deeper our attention on something, the more opportunity we get for this myelin to be formed, and the more opportunity we give ourselves to really excel at something. And that's why it's so much more constructive to say, I'm going to repeat those 5 bars 5 times today, instead of spend 20 minutes at the piano of unstructured kind of practice. Or I'm going to do 10 sun salutations instead of just half an hour of random yoga practice. Or speak to 5 people on my night out instead of saying I'm going out and hopefully some nice guys will speak to me. So short, focused bursts of really focused attention will get those electrical signals firing and that confidence really, really building. So the thing that I've chosen to focus my attention on is the piano. Um, Playing the piano has always been a hugely important part of my life, but I've gone through these bursts of very concentrated effort on it, and by that I mean like 2, 3 years and so on, and then even longer stints of ignoring it altogether. But yeah, it's so important to me, and it's one of the few things in my life that really lights me up, that really connects me with myself and keeps me super present. Yeah, I've pushed it to one side so one too many times because I've always thought, oh, right now I'm focusing on my business, or I'm in a relationship, so I don't have the time, or I know I'm going to. I remember at one point it was going to uni and stuff like that. Um, but last Christmas, I was listening to some music, and I Nowdy's Una Mattina came on, and I listened closely to it. And I thought to myself, surely it can't be that hard to figure it out. I only got to grade 3 with piano, and I think the piece that I was listening to was about grade 5 or 6. But I thought to myself, I'm sure with a bit of effort, patience, and a bit of elbow grease as well, I could make it work. And sometimes that's the other thing, I've stopped myself from practicing the piano or doing something because I think, oh, I haven't got a teacher right now. I can't afford to, spend X amount on classes, or I can't afford to go to a half an hour class every week because I'm focusing on this or that. But sometimes all the resource we need is a handy YouTube video or some like great sheet music, and just a bit of perseverance. And so since the last weekend, I've chunked down my practice. I've broken that sheet music down into really manageable chunks for me to keep firing those electrical signals with. And I'm making progress. It's only been a couple of days, but I'm already making progress. And I feel like I'm home again. And it's the best feeling ever. No matter how rough it sounds, it's great to just be sat at that piano and doing something that means so much to me. And it's just a short chunk of time in my day. So again, my question to you is, what is that thing, that one thing? It doesn't have to be a whole list of things, but what is that one thing that you can begin focusing some of your attention on? Because it really lights you up, it really fulfills you. And I'll make sure I'll keep you updated on my progress with this piece. Maybe I'll even Facebook Live my first ever performance or something. But yeah, I'd really love to hear what you guys will be focusing on, if anything, or how this has resonated with you. But I'm going to now fire some slightly different electrical signals. I'm going to go off and try to learn some Ceilidh dancing, which is a type of Scottish dance. So that should be fun. I'll let you know how that goes. So speak to you guys later. Bye.